No, I'm going to speak. Yeah. So you silent, silently. Taruni Mataji, can you just touch this on? Put it on. Camera.
It is on.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's live now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's already live, so you kept saying that.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So welcome to Sri Sri Radha Govinda temple today. And the deity looks wonderful, just simply wonderful. So beautiful. With all the new costumes and decorations and all that. So without further delay, we'll be reading from Ramayan. Usually in this temple, we learn 365 days Srimad Bhagavatam. And main thing we are taught is ete chansho kalapumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mrudayanti yuge yuge. What it means that all the incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of plenary portions. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever and wherever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnations are there to protect the theist devotees. Among those incarnations, through Ramayana we study Rama Avatar. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, verse number 22 clearly indicates that Naradevatva Mapannam Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigrahadini Chakre Viryanyata Param. In order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, Lord appeared as King Ramachandra and exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. And that we call Rama Avatar. Also, one of the great poets, Jayadev, has written, Vitarasi Dikshu Rane Dikapati Kamaniyam Dashamukamauli Balim Ramaniyam. So, who have assumed the form of Lord Sri Ramachandra. All glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroy the 10-headed demon Ravana and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of the directions. Headed by Indra, this action was long desired by all of them, who were much harassed by the monster named Ravana. So everything is there in our daily studies. And before we do Bhagavatam, we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times. And also, here is a Prabhu, say Hare Krishna here. That's a camera. No, say Hare Krishna. Speak.
Hare Krishna.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. God bless you. So after saying 3 times Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, there are some standard prayers that we chant. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Also we chant Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Sometimes also we chant the 3rd verse, which is Nigama Kalpataro Galitam Phalam Shuk Mukhad Mukhadrava Sanyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhurho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. And then we read from Srila Prabhupada's books, where they have word-to-word translation, the translation itself, and the purport, etc. Now, when we go to Ramayan, Ramayan is the same way, except they have their own ways. For example, I just explained about how to read and follow the traditions for Srimad Bhagavatam. I will tell you today how to read Ramayana. What is the approach to Ramayana? It is a standard way, I didn't establish, you didn't establish, but it's always there. Lord Rama is from Ayodhya, from Hyderabad. And that is why in Ayodhya language, what happens that this is what they follow, the local language. As you know, India is a great country, very big country. And it is divided into almost 26 states. The only problem is every state has its own language. If you go from here to Connecticut, you won't be able to communicate. Of course, nowadays, English is everybody's language, so they understand English. And Hindi is a national language, so if you know Hindi, you are okay. But if you try to communicate with their local language, it won't be possible because your language is going to be different and their language is going to be different. So that is why when you go to Ayodhya, what happens that this is what they speak. But I will translate it for you so that you know that whatever they do, however they do, just like when we do some kind of karmakand or puja, we speak Sanskrit. It's difficult to understand what we are doing, but then once it is explained exactly what we are doing through those mantras, then it becomes clear in our mind. So, traditionally, the person sitting on the Vyasasana is invoking and inviting Lord Hanumanji. Then next step is praying and glorifying Lord Hanumanji. Why? Because right in front of me there is a Lord Nrsimhadeva's picture. That picture is not finished until the artist draws Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad is his devotee and he is responsible for invoking and inviting and worshipping Lord Nrsimhadeva. Same thing with Hanuman. He is also a devotee. So, after glorifying Lord Hanuman, then we also think of our own Guru. For example, you may be disciple of Srila Prabhupada, or someone else may be in other sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya or Brahma Sampradaya. But the thing is that even if they have a different Guru, by taking a dirt or a particle of dirt from the lotus feet of the Guru, you try to please Guru, put it over your head, that dirt coming from lotus feet of your Guru, and get the blessings, and they will bestow upon you all kind of benedictions. After that, they also chant Hanumanji as considering as a Guru, because Hanumanji was so close to him and he did all the favorable service that one can do to Guru. Then they also pray to Lord Rama. Sometimes the whole Ramayan is condensed in like one verse. That also they chant, and then they keep glorifying Lord Rama through the different pastimes. So let's begin the traditional way of invoking and inviting Lord Hanuman, glorifying him, glorifying our own Guru, and glorifying Lord Ramachandra. It may sound a little strange because in our temple, like I said before, our way is to chant 3 times Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Narayana Namaskrutyam and all that. But this is little different, but it is melodious, and once I read the meaning, you will not find it something foreign or something inappropriate or something weird or something unheard, something like that. So it goes like this. Aye Hanumant Padariye कथा कहूँ मति सार प्रेम से गादी धरूं बिराजिए पवन कुमार सियावर रामचंद्र की जय उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. So just like Srila Prabhupada has introduced, Prema Dhavani they call it. Namo Om Vishnupada Paramahansa, and then Jai, 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 right? Ki Jai, Ki Jai. Similarly, here also, they have a whole parampara and Prem Dhavani after singing and invoking Lord Hanuman. The translation, if I read of that particular verse is, we invite and invoke you, Lord Hanuman. Please be seated. We will recite Ram Katha according to our knowledge. We offer you a seat with lots of devotion and love. Welcome, son of wind god. Please accept our humble obeisances. So just like in Karmakan, like whenever we do like Abhishek or something like that, we have to actually invoke and invite the deities and then only we can proceed Abhishek or whatever ritual is there. So this is like that. And then with folded hands, we pray to Hanumanji. And the verse goes like that. Manojau marututulya vegam Jitendriyam buddhimatam varishtam Vatattvajam Vanarayuthamukhyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye. O Lord Hanuman, you have speed of mind, velocity of the wind. You have conquered all the senses, supreme in intellect, chief among monkeys, O son of wind god, ambassador of Lord Sri Ramachandra. We beseech your protection. Please accept our humble obeisances. And after that, we chant Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raj Nijamanu Mukar Sudhari Barno Raghubir Bimaljo Dayaku Phalachari. We clean mirror of our minds with the dust from the lotus feet of our Guru and proceed to listen the glories of Sri Ramachandra, Sita and Lakshmana, who bestow upon us taste for religiosity, devotional service, knowledge, love, and award salvation. So we'll come to sing that again. And then also they continue to sing Mangala Bhavan Amangala Hari Drauso Dashrath Ajira Bihari Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Krupa Karu Guru Dev Kinai. Lord Ram is edifice of all auspicious and destroyer of all evils. May Lord Ramachandra, son of Dashrath, have mercy upon me. All good is to Lord Hanuman, all glories, all glories, all glories. And then again, they may chant a couple of mantras in order to please Lord Ramchandra. So let's go back and sing. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Baranau Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodayaku Falchari Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Manu Mukur Sudhari Baranau Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodayaku Falchari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Dravu Sadashrat Ajir Vihari Dravu Sadashrat Ajir Vihari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Kripa karo Guru Dev ki nai Kripa karo Guru Dev ki nai Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Mangal Bhavan Amangal Hari Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai Raja Ram 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 Siya Ram 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 Raja Ram 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 Siya Ram Ram Ram. Then with a beautiful mantra they also try to invoke Lord Ramchandra. Ram Rajmani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vijaya Jaya Parabhanam Ramaya Tasmai Namah Ramat Nasti Parayana Parataram Ramasya Dasosmiham राम चित्तलयं सदा भवतु मे भो राम माम चरण. And again, the condensed form of Ramayana in just one verse they chant. Ado Rama tapovanadigamanam hatva mrugam kanchanam vadehi haranam jatayu maranam Sugriva Sambhashanam Vali Nigranam Samudrataranam Lankapuri Dahanam Paschat Ravana Kumbhakarna Hananam Etati Ramayanam. So it's so wonderful beginning. And the reason we had to invoke Hanuman Dada is because today he is going to recite Ramayana. Of course, the first day through all the 6 days, we go through so many types of Ramayana. Like, for example, Parikshit Raja is asking Shukdev Goswami, and he is reciting Ramayana to Parikshit Raja. The Kakabhushandi is asking Garudev, and Garudaji is reciting Ramayana to Kakabhushandi. The sage Agatsya is reciting Ramayana and narrating to Shiv Parvati. Again, Lord Shiva is explaining Ramayana to Mother Parvati. And all these different Ramayana, as like Valmiki may be explaining the Ramayana to Lava and Kush, or Tulsidas ji at the same time, Ramacharita all these Ramayanas are there. But one, we never even talk about. I have even attended so many Ram Katha. And then there are so many people who recite different kind of Ramayana. But they never ever talk about a Ramayana by Hanumanji himself. So last night when I came across this particular Ramayana, I was all excited and decided in my mind that tomorrow, first thing, I will try to read Hanuman Ramayana. There is a special reason why Hanumanji had to chant a separate Ramayana while so many authentic Ramayana by Dharma Samsthapak. The reason was that even while Lord Rama was here on this mortal planet, he was a controversial figure. And even up to today, And even up to today, this is the only scripture which carries so many controversies. People have all kind of opinions and questions, and sometimes they don't have answers. So, Hanumanji was witness of those last days when Lord Ramchandra had to abandon his wife as well as his brother Lakshmana. He had to kill Wali while hiding in a bush. And so many things that we just read in every event in that Ek Shloki Ramayan. Every step he had to prove. And at the same time, the society, your community, your devotee world even try to prove him wrong sometimes. He looked like you and me, an ordinary guy, simple human being with 2 hands and 2 legs. Not even up-to-date clothes or clothing. And that kind of person, how he can be a supreme personality of Godhead? All the gods and goddesses have more than 2 hands. Some have 4 hands and 8 hands and 10 hands. Sahasra Chirisha Purushaha, Sahasra Akshaha, Sahasrapada, Sabhummim Vishwato Vrutva Atyatishta Dashangulam. Everyone is equipped with all kind of weapons. Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Vanamala Vibhushitam. And here, Ramchandra is just walking like you and me. So people are looking for some kind of godly form, which Lord Rama doesn't have. The reason Hanumanji says that, well, when Ravana asked benediction, he says he won't be killed by a human being. And that is why, on the order, he decided to come just as a human being, so that as a human being he can easily kill Ravana. And that's why he didn't come in form of Narayana, carrying Shankh, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So these are some controversies that Hanuman Dada wants to clear in our mind. And that is why wherever he is in the form of Chiranjeevi, eternally he is meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra and reciting his own mantra and own version of Ramayan. I am very excited, and you should also, because this is something nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to know it, just considering as one of the opinions of an individual. In Gujarat, we have a proverb. In Gujarati language, they say, Varne kon vakhane? Who is going to appreciate the groom? The answer is groom's mother. Groom's mom says, oh, my dear child is so handsome, so beautiful. He's so wise. He's so learned. He has so many good qualities. And the people stop her and say, Mom, don't forget you are mother of that groom. Naturally, you are going to appreciate him. So this is what's happening with Hanuman Dada. That he is trying to glorify the Lord and trying to clear the air in your mind. But people say, well, you are a disciple. You are a disciple of Lord Ramachandra, and naturally you will glorify your spiritual master. What's a big deal? But here we will read about it, and at the end of the day, I'm sure you will appreciate whatever we go through. So, here it describes how Lord Ramachandra is being worshipped in the tract of land known as Kim Purusha Varsha. This particular Ramayan is being sung, heard, and worshipped in a province called Kim Purusha Varsha. That's where Lord Hanuman is spending time. The inhabitants of Kim Purusha Varsha are fortunate because they worship Lord Ramachandra with his faithful servant Hanuman. Lord Ramachandra exemplifies an incarnation of Godhead who descends for the mission of Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Cha Duskritam Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, protecting the devotees and destroying the miscreants. Lord Ramchandra exhibits the actual purpose of an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the devotees take the opportunity to offer loving transcendental service to Him. One should surrender fully to the Lord, forgetting one's so-called material happiness, opulence, and education, which are not at all useful for pleasing the Lord. The Lord is pleased only by the process of surrender unto Him. He is not asking for too much. Not asking even for patram pushpam phalam toyam. Any kind of service that you can offer to Lord Ramachandra, without any condition, He will accept it. There were small little rats and squirrels, that kind of very little small animals. And while they were building the bridge, Lord Ramachandra saw them. And they said, "What are you doing here? You may get killed. This is a construction going on, it's a big bridge. These are furious, well-built monkeys, and they can easily crush you under their feet. Stay here, stay out of here." So those squirrels and rats and little creatures, they say, "No. It is our duty to have some contribution to this bridge that you are building." So he said, "How you are going to contribute in this massive infrastructure, in a construction which is never even heard in 2022? Making something weightless, making float on the waves of the ocean." So they say, whatever it is, we cannot lift the rocks. So what we do, that we roll our bodies. Our bodies have some hair on it, and it collects the dirt and the sand particles from the beach. And we go with those sand particles carrying our body, and they try to shake our body on the bridge. So the area is getting filled with sand. When there are two rocks, there is a gap. So just like in a concrete construction, you are plastering. Similarly, all these little squirrels were plastering the bridge. And Rama was really shocked to see that how these unintelligent creatures, they have a sense of devotional service. So, here it says, in Kim Purusha Varsha, the great devotee Hanuman is always engaged with the inhabitants of the land in devotional service to Lord Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshmana and dear husband of Sita Devi. Hanumanji is always engaged in chanting the glories of Lord Ramachandra. That chanting is always extremely auspicious. And in Kimpurusha, Hanumanji is constantly hear Ram Katha, glories with complete attention. So, we also have some evidences of this, which we will try to plug in while talking about this subject. So there is a scripture called Laghu Bhagavat Amruta. Laghu Bhagavat Amruta, in which it says, Vasudevadirupāṇaṁ avatara prakirtita Vishnu dharmottare Rama Lakshmanadhyakramandami Padme tu Rama Bhagavan Narayana Tiritu Shesha Chakram Tashankascha Kramasyu Lakshmanadaya Madhya Desha Sthita Ayodhya Puresya Vasati Smruta Mahavaikuntha Lokecha Raghavendra Kirtirtita. So, in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, it is said that Lord Ramchandra and his brother Lakshmana, Bharat and Shatrughna are incarnations of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyuman and Aniruddha respectively. The Padma Purana, however, says that Lord Ramchandra is an incarnation of Narayana and that the other three brothers are incarnation of Sesha, Chakra and Shankha. Therefore, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan has concluded Tadidam Kalpa Bhedaneva Sambhavyama. Means, in other words, these opinions are not contrary. In some millenniums, Lord Ramachandra and his brothers appear as incarnations of Vasudeva, Sankarsh, Pradyumnan and Aniruddha. And in other millenniums, they appear as the incarnation of Narayana, Sesha Chakra and Shankha. Now, that is the reason, realizing these facts based on purely on the scriptures, Hanuman Dada, unmotivated, uninterrupted, with unflinching faith, without fail, chants constantly with unalloyed devotion the following mantra. So please be with me. This is the time to invoke that particular mantra. I have not tried this mantra, but I promise after Ramanavami, the next day I will start chanting this mantra and I will try to see how my spiritual life is helped by the mantra that only Hanumanji is chanting. No one else I ever heard chanting this or even propagating the name or giving the initiation into this mantra or anything like that. It's a long mantra, but we'll translate and explain you word by word. The mantra goes like this. Om Namo Bhagavate Uttamashlokaya Namaham Arya Lakshana Shilavrataya Namaham Upashikshittatmane Namaham Upasitalokaya Namaham Sadhuvada Nikashanaya Namaham Brahmanya Devaya Mahapurushaya Maharajaya Namaham. So, this is the mantra Lord Hanuman Deva is chanting constantly to please Lord Hari. The Kimpurusha land, which is a land of Gandharvas, all the Gandharvas live there. And they follow Lord Hanuman Dada as their spiritual master. And this mantra they also chant. And through this mantra they worship Lord Ramachandra. Lord Hanuman is giving them the understanding to understand Ram, Sita and Lakshman in a proper way, perfect way. So, the shloka means this way. O Lord Ramachandra, let me please your lordship by chanting the Bij mantra, Omkara. Like any other mantra, it starts with Omkar, which is very good. And then he says, I wish to offer my respectful obeisances unto personality of Godhead, who is the best among most highly elevated personalities. Your lordship is the reservoir of all good qualities of Aryans. People who are advanced, your character and behavior are always consistent, and you always control your senses and mind. Acting just like ordinary human being, you exhibit exemplary character to teach others how to behave. There is a touchstone that can be used to examine the quality of gold, but you are like a touchstone that can verify all good qualities. So touchstone is used. If it's a goal, it's a goal, but otherwise it detects that it's not gold. Similarly, this is a kind of touchstone, Lord Ramachandraji, that sadhuvad nikashanaya. That means a person is really a devotee or no. Lord Ramachandra is working as a touchstone for them. He will figure out right away whether the person is a devotee or not. He wants one to be 100% devotee. If you are 99% devotee, Lord Ramchandra will say that no, not good enough. You have to still endeavor for last 1%. That's Ramchandra. It's not easy to pass the taste of Lord Sri Rama. And that's why Lord Hanuman says that you are worshipped by Brahmanas, who are the foremost of all devotees. You, the Supreme Person, are the King of Kings, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Then he continues, O Lord Ram, those pure form, Satchidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by modes of material nature. Those pure form, Satchidananda Vigraha, is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature, can be perceived by pure consciousness. In the Vedanta, he is described as being one without a second. Because of his spiritual potency, he is untouched by the contamination of material nature And because he is not subjected to material vision, he is known as transcendental. He has no material activities, nor has his material form or name. Only in pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Ram consciousness, can one perceive the transcendental form of Lord Ramachandra. Let us be firmly fixed at the lotus feet of Ramachandra, and let us offer our respectful obeisances unto those transcendental lotus feet. And naturally, when we read Brahma Samhita, it clearly mentions Ramadimurti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavatar Makaroda Bhuvaneshu King Krishna Swayam Samabhavata Puram Pumanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavatar Makaroda Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations, such as Lord Rama, Lord Narasimha, and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is original personality of Godhead known as Krishna, and who incarnates himself personally also. Krishna, who is Vishnu Tattva, has expanded himself in many Vishnu forms, of which Lord Ramachandra is one. We know that the Vishnu Tattva is carried by the transcendental bird Garuda and is equipped with different types of weapons in four hands. Therefore, we may doubt whether Lord Ramachandra could be in the same category or no. So unless, we know the misconceptions, we don't need Hanuman Ramayan. He wants to point out the misconceptions about Lord Ramachandra, and he makes clarity about it based on the scriptures, referring to scriptures. So here it says, Krishna, who is Vishnu Tattva, has expanded himself in many Vishnu forms, of which Lord Ramachandra is one. We know that the Vishnu Tattva is carried by transcendental bird Garuda and is equipped with different types of weapons in four hands. Therefore, we may doubt whether Lord Ramachandra could be in the same category, since he was carried by Hanuman, not by Garuda, and had neither four hands nor a Shankh, Chakra, Gada and Padma. Consequently, this verse clarifies that Lord Ramachandra is as good as Krishna, Ramadi Murtishu Kala. Although Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, Ramachandra is not different from him. Ramachandra is unaffected by the modes of material nature, and therefore is prashant, never disturbed by those modes. Unless one is saturated with love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot appreciate the transcendent value of Lord Ramachandra. One cannot see him with material eyes, because demons like Ravana had no spiritual vision. They considered Lord Ramchandra as an ordinary Kshatriya king. Ravana therefore attempted to kidnap Lord Ramchandra's eternal consort, Sita Devi. Actually, however, Ravana could not carry off Sita Devi in her original form. As soon as she was touched by Ravana, the demon, she gave him a material form, but she maintained her original form beyond his vision. Therefore, in this verse, the words Pratakya, Prashantam indicate that Lord Ramchandra and his potency, the goddess Sita, keep themselves aloof from influence of the material energy. In the Upanishads, it is said, Yam evasa runute tena labhyah. The Supreme Lord Paramatma, the personality of Godhead, can be seen or perceived only by persons who are saturated with devotional service as stated in Brahma Samhita. Again, coming back to Brahma Samhita, Hanuman Lala is using as a reference and says, Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaramachinta guna rutsvarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaramachinta Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by a devotee, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form as Shyamasundar, situated within the heart of the devotees. Similarly, in Chandogya Upanishad it is stated, Etat tisro devat anena jivena. In the verse of Chandogya Upanishad, the word anena is used to distinguish the Atma and Paramatma as two separate entities. The word Tisro Devat indicates that the body of living being is made up of three material elements, fire, earth and water. Although Paramatma enters as heart of Jivatma, who is influenced and designated by the material body, the Paramatma has nothing to do with the Jivatma's body. Because the Paramatma has no material connection, he is described there as Anam Rupam Niraham. The Paramatma has no material identity, whereas the Jivatma does. The Jivatma may introduce himself as an Indian, American, German, African, and so on. But the Paramatma has no such material designation, and therefore he has no material name. The Jivatma is different from his name, but the Paramatma is not. His name and he himself are one and the same. So this is a wonderful point is made that Jivatma is different from his name. That is a soul. And there are 8,400,000 species of life. That soul, sometimes you call him like a snake. In the next slide, you call him a turtle. And the next life you call him a monkey. And again, next life you call him a roach. Keeps changing body. Based on the kind of body that you get, you are named. So you are not the name. Name has nothing to do with you. Name keeps changing as you change the body. But Paramatma, here it says, his name and his himself are one and the same. His name and he himself are one and the same. This is the meaning of Niraham, which means without material designations. This word can possibly be twisted to mean that Paramatma has no ahankar, no I-ness or identity. He has his transcendental identity as supreme. This is the explanation given by Srila Jiva Goswami. According to another interpretation given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Niraham means Nirishchayana Aham. Niraham does not mean the Supreme Lord has no identity. Rather, the stress given by word Aham proves strongly that he does not have his personal identity, because Nir not only means negative but also means strong ascertainment. So these are the Parivrajaka Acharya, founder Acharyas, Dharma Durandar, and Goswamis. They cannot be wrong. Actually, follow every word they say, because they are all in our. That is the best part, being here. And then it was ordained that Ravana, chief of Rakshasa, could not be killed by anyone but a man. And for this reason, Lord Ramachandra, Supreme Person of Godhead, appeared in the form of a human being. So again, it's explained here in this Hanuman Ramayan that Ramachandra is not a mythical figure, some kind of mythology, somebody's out of his intelligent brain started writing a story and gave a mythical figure. No. He is not an ordinary person either. He is not even a very great human being. But he is the Supreme Person of Godhead, appeared in the form of a human being. That's what he's trying to make a point. The misconception that Lord Rama was ordinary human being is just a king. Lord Rama was ordinary human being is just a king in the history of India, millions of millions years before. That's not the case. He came as Lord Ramachandra incarnation, and that is the most wonderful point he is making. For this reason, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Person of Godhead, appeared in the form of human being. Lord Ramachandra's mission, however, was not only to kill Ravana, but also to teach mortal beings that material happiness centered around sex life or married life or centered around one's wife is the cause of many miseries. He is a self-sufficient Supreme Person of Godhead, and he has nothing to do with the lamentation. Therefore, why else could be the subject to tribulations by the kidnapping of Mother Sita? So when the Lord appears in the universe in the form of human being, he has two purposes as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. To destroy the demons and protect the devotees. To protect the devotees, the Lord not only satisfies them by the personal presence, but also teaches them so that they will not fall down from devotional service. By his personal example, Lord Ramachandra taught the devotees that it is better not to enter married life, which is certainly followed by many tribulations, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you enter the married life, then you have to go through so many tribulations. So, the scripture again reinforcing that point that Lord Hanuman is making. And he is referring, Yanmaithunadi gruhamedi sukham mitucham Kanduyanena karayori vadukha sukham Trupyanti neha krupana vuhudukha bhajam Kandutivan manasijam vishaheta dhira. It says that Krupanas, those who are not advanced in spiritual knowledge and who are therefore just the opposite of Brahmanas, generally take to family life, which is a concession for sex. Thus they enjoy sex again and again and again and again. And although that sex is followed by many tribulations, this is the warning to the devotees. To teach this lesson to devotees and to human society in general, Lord Sri Ramachandra, although Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, underwent a series of tribulations because he accepted a wife, Mother Sita. Lord Ramachandra underwent these austerities of course only to instruct us. Actually, he never has any reason to lament for anything, even for Mother Sita or the event of kidnapping by Ravana. And all this is observed by a brahmachari. If you ask any of these brahmacharis that we see around us, they will not understand this. But Lord Hanuman was initiated by Ramachandra, and even today is the topmost celibate person, Param Brahmachari. And this is his observation. Another aspect of Lord's instruction is that one who accepts a wife must be faithful husband and give her full protection. Human society is divided into two classes of men: those who strictly follow the religious principles and those who are devotees. By his personal example, Lord Ramachandra wanted to instruct both of them how to fully adopt the discipline of the religious system and how to be beloved and dutiful husband. So, it doesn't matter, it's all up to you. It's your choice. If you want to get married, get married. But then again, you have to take care of the wife. You have to protect her. Live a perfect life of a grahastha based on rules and regulation and regulatory principles. Never break a vow of one husband and one wife. It will be difficult in this age of Kali. So, it's okay to marry and it's also okay to accept the brahmachari life. But then again, you cannot just put the scriptures out of your way and say, well, I'm a brahmachari. I wear saffron. I don't have to follow rules and regulations. I can do whatever I want. No, that's not possible. So otherwise, he had no reason to undergo apparent tribulations. One who strictly follows religious principles must not neglect to provide all the facilities for the complete protection of his wife. There may be some sufferings because of this, but one must nevertheless endure it. That is the duty of a faithful husband. By his personal example, Lord Ramachandra demonstrated this duty. Lord Ramachandra could have produced hundreds and thousands of sitas from his plenary energy. But just to show the duty of faithful husband, he not only rescued Sita from the hands of Ravana, but also killed Ravana and all the members of his family. Another aspect of the teaching of Lord Rama is that all the Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his devotees may apparently suffer from material tribulations. They have nothing to do with such tribulations. They are Mukta Purusha, liberated persons under all circumstances. It is therefore said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Yatadekha Vaishmanera Vyavara Dukha Nishchaya Jani Hataha Paramananda Sukha Yatadekha Vaishnavera Vyavahara Dukha Nishchaya Jani Hataha Paramananda Sukha. A Vaishnava is always firmly situated in transcendental bliss because of engagements in devotional service. Although he may appear to suffer material pains in his position, is called transcendental bliss in separation, viraha. The emotions a lover and beloved feel when separated from one another are actually very blissful. Although apparently painful, therefore the separation of Lord Ramachandra and Mother Sita, as well as a consequent tribulation they suffered, is but another display of transcendental bliss. It's a joy. It's a fun for them. This is the opinion of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Now, how can you just challenge this kind of thoughts, this kind of understanding about Lord Sri Ramachandra, Ramayan, and all the pastimes? So, since Lord Sri Ramachandra is Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, he is not attached to anything in this material world. He is the most beloved Supreme or Super Soul of all the self-realized souls. And he is their very intimate friend. He is full of the opulences. Therefore, he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife. Even for an ordinary person, we can prove Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochati na Kankshati. There are some people, they make $1 million and still they really don't care for it. And if they lose $1 million, they still don't care for it. Na shochati na kankshati. There is no reason to be happy and there is no reason to be unhappy. That's called Brahma Bhuta. What to speak of a Brahma? This is just ordinary person, Brahma Bhuta, a devotee, successful devotee. If he can do that, why not the Brahma, Lord Ramachandra, can do that? So he could not possibly have suffered because of separation from his wife. Nor could he have given up his wife and Lakshmana, his younger brother. To give up either would have been absolutely impossible. So this is again a misconception in Ramayan. How can you abandon your own wife? Right? He abandoned his younger brother, Lakshmana. How can you do that? People are asking, and they have no answer. These are the misconceptions. But Lord Hanuman is clearing that air from their minds. In defining the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we say that He is full in all six opulences: wealth, fame, strength, influence, beauty, and renunciation. Shri, Shakti, Kirti, Kanti, Gnana, and Vairagya. He is called renounced because he is not attached to anything in this material world. He is specifically attached to the spiritual world and the living entities there. The affairs of the material world take place under superintendence of Durga Devi. Sthiti, Srusti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shaktir Eka, Chayeva Yasya, Bhavanani, Bibhrati, Durga. Everything is going on under the strict rules and regulations of material energy, represented by Durga Rani. Therefore, the Lord is completely detached and need not give attention to the material world. Sita Devi belongs to the spiritual world. Similarly, Lord Lakshmana, Ramchandra's younger brother, is a manifestation of Sankarshana, and Lord Ramchandra himself is Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the Lord is always spiritually qualified, he is attached to the servant who always render transcendental loving service unto him. He is attached to the truth in life, not to the Brahmanical qualities. Indeed, he is never attached to any material qualities. Although he is the super soul of all living entities, he specifically manifest to those who are self-realized and especially dear to the hearts of the transcendental devotees. Because Lord Ramachandra descended to teach human society how dutiful a king should be, he apparently gave up the company of Mother Sita and Lakshmana. Factually, however, he could not have given them up. One should therefore learn about the activities of Ramachandra from a self-realized soul like Lord Hanuman. Then one can understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. One cannot establish a relationship with Supreme Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities, such as one's birth in an aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, or one's superior race or nation. You cannot corrupt Lord Ramachandra. Yes, it may be possible with some demigods, right? I went to Calcutta and somebody invited me, Mr. Prabhu, exactly at 4:30, can you make it to this temple? I said, yes, of course. Going to the temple is very auspicious. You are talking about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But even if it is a 4 o'clock in the morning, I will be there. So he says, no, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, fine. I went there. Big crowd, and they brought a goat. And a guy came out with a sword, and without any hesitation, without any feeling towards the poor animal, he just cut the throat of that goat. The blood came out as a fountain. Everywhere there was blood. And they cut the goat into pieces. And the crowd were all excited. And they started distributing the Mahaprasad, meat, to everyone. So sad. Look at the difference between what we have here in Radha Govinda temple. And Prabhupada is coming from the same city. I'm talking about the temple from Calcutta where Prabhupada spent his childhood and his youth and a part of his married life. He knew about this temple. He knew about these rituals. People sacrifice animals. Sometimes they take their own babies and cut them in pieces in front of deities. How can they do that? But they do it. And that's why it says that one cannot establish relationship with Lord Ramachandra on the basis of material qualities, such as one's birth in aristocratic family, one's personal beauty, one's eloquence, one's sharp intelligence, one's superior race or nation, or one's ability to sacrifice even a living being. You cannot corrupt Lord Ramachandra. It's possible with some god and goddesses, demigods. Actually, prerequisite friendship with the Lord, with Ramachandra, in this fashion doesn't work. That's why it says that none of these qualifications is actually prerequisite for friendship or relationship with Lord Ramachandra. Otherwise, how is it possible that although we uncivilized inhabitants of forest, these are the words of Lord Hanuman Dada, and those who follow the monkeys, his friends, and in Kim Purusha, mainly the Gandharvas, they say that otherwise, how is it possible that although we monkeys, uncivilized inhabitants of the forest, have not taken noble births, although we have no physical beauty, and although we cannot speak like gentlemen, Lord Ramchandra has nevertheless accepted us as the friends. So this is how Lord Ramchandra is projected in this Hanuman Ramayana. That he doesn't need anything from you. All he needs is little service from you, and he will accept you as your relative. In a prayer to Krishna expressing her feelings, Srimati Kunti Devi called him Akinchan Gochar. The prefix A means not, and Kinchan something of this material world. Or Kinchan. Or means not, and Kinchan means something of this material world. That's what Krishna is called Akinchan. One may be very proud of this prestigious position, material wealth, beauty, education, and so on. But although these are certainly good qualifications, in material dealings, they are not necessary for achieving friendship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who possesses all these material qualities is expected to become a devotee. And when he actually does, the qualities are properly utilized. Those who are puffed up by high birth, wealth, education, and personal beauty, Janma Aishwarya Shrutashri, means by birth you may have got all these qualities. Do not care for the developing Krishna consciousness. But that's not the prerequisite requirement. Nor does the Supreme Personality of Godhead care about all these material qualifications. The Supreme Lord is achieved by devotion. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One's devotion and the sincere desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One's devotion and the sincere desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. Buddhaha bhava samanvitaha. Bhagavad Gita says that. It's not actual service or something to devote or sacrifice or give. The desire to give, the desire to serve is more than enough to please Lord Ramachandra. That is why the Mansi Puja is highest of all the pujas. If you take 1 ton of gold and offer it to deities, and the other person is in his mind takes 1 ounce of gold and offers his deity, it's the same thing. For deity it doesn't make any difference. For God it doesn't make any difference. If you see Nectar of Devotion, turn the pages and you will come across a picture. There are not that many pictures, but there is one picture which is beautiful, attractive. We'll also talk about another picture very short. But the one picture I like is there is a Brahmana and he's making offering. See, right now we have curtain. If you see beyond the curtain, every day I am there, so I know that there is a table and then they put a tray in which there are so many varieties cooked, benefiting our sponsor. Those who sponsor the katha gets recognized by Shri Radha Govinda. He eats behalf of them, he is blessing the families. So don't miss this chance to sponsor the program. We would like to keep doing this 365 days. So, one's devotion, sincere desire to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. So the Brahmana was having a dish, and dish made out of gold and some containers made out of silver and the table made of diamonds, because he was doing Mansi Seva. So he doesn't have to pull out even a penny from his pocket. And suddenly he realized, he says, in my mind I was boiling milk since morning and I served the Lord. Oh my God, what a mistake. I should have given some time to let it cool, because this could be very hot for the deity. Thinking this way in his mind, he dipped his finger in the glass of milk, and he could see the whole finger is burned, became red hot. And he screamed. And his wife said, what happened? He says, I was doing Manasi Seva. In my mind I was offering and I was checking whether milk was cold or hot. And I burnt my finger. So it was not a Manasi Seva. For you it is a Manasi Seva, not for God. Buddhaha bhava samanvita. He is looking at your bhava, your desire to serve. And he is not looking for milk or makhan misri. This is the Lord Hanuman is saying. So, Rupa Goswami has also said that the price of achieving God's favor is simply one sincere eagerness to have it. So that's why he gives example of Khola Vecha Sevak. And he says, Khola Vecha Sevaker Dekh Bhagya Sima Brahma Shiva Kandeyar Dekhiya Mahima Dhan Jan Panditya Krishna Nahi Paye Keval Bhaktir Vashu Chaitanya Gosai. Behold the great fortune of devotee Khola Vecha. Lord Brahma and Shiva shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One cannot attain Lord Krishna by any amount of wealth, followers, or learning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is controlled by the pure devotion. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very sincere devotee whose name was Khola Vecha, Sridhara, and whose only business was to sell pots made of skin of banana trees. Whatever income he had, he used to 50% for the worship of Mother Ganges. And with the other 50% he provided for necessities. On the whole, he was so poor that it lived in a cottage that had a broken roof with many holes in it. He could not afford brass utensils, and therefore he drank water from the iron pot. Nevertheless, he was great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a typical example of how a poor man with no material possessions can become a most exalted devotee of Lord. The conclusion is that one cannot attain shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna or Lord Sri Ramchandra or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through material opulence. That shelter is attainable only by pure devotional service. So I believe that the time is up and we will continue reading this Hanuman Ramayan because I found it very, very interesting and a devotee must learn out of it. And I hope more and more Kathakar comes with this particular Ramayan and spreads around the globe of the earth. That's my desire. Now we'll be chanting this Gaura Arati, and if you want to chant with me, that's fine. Otherwise, I chant, there will be a little gap in between, and then we'll continue again to the next verse of the Arati. Those who are watching me see Sri Sri Radha Govinda Dev, and they can also offer Arti to Sri Sri Radha Govinda. If you have the paraphernalias like incense, ghee lamp, water, handkerchief, flower, charmer or peacock fan, conch shell, or etc., or nothing, then at least if you have harmonium, mridanga or kartal or any other instruments, you can play along with me, and we all offer it to Sri Sri Radha Govinda. I have no clue, this is live streamed. I have no idea if someone is watching or no. But if you are watching, keep an eye on the pujari, and when he offers the incense, you offer incense. When he offers the ghee lamp, you offer ghee lamp. When he offers the water, you offer water. When he offers the hanky, you also offer hanky. And when he offers the flower, you offer flower. When he offers chamar, you offer chamar. And peacock fan, you also offer peacock fan. So, it's time for us to sing Gaura Arati. Radha Govinda is with you in your cell phone screen on your laptop screen, on your television, whichever way you are watching and reading and listening to this particular pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. Please try to focus, and within half an hour we will relieve you. Then you can go back to your business. Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarini. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakturinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakturinda. Ki bajaya jaya Gaura Chande Aruti ko shobhan. Ki bajaya jaya Gaura Chande Aruti ko shobhan. Janvi Tatvan Jagman Loba. Janvi Tatvan जगमन लोभा दक्षिण निताई चाँद भाम गदाधरं दक्षिण निताई चाँद भाम गदाधरं निकटे अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्रधारा निकटे अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्रधारा बसी আছে গৌরাচন रत्न सिंहासन बसी আছে গৌরাচন रत्न सिंहासन आरती करेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेवगणे आरती करेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेवगणे नरहरि आदि कोरी चामर दुलायन नरहरि आदि कोरी चामर धुलायन संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करतालन शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे 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 हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वलन बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वलन गल देश वनमाला कुरजल माला गल देश वनमाला कुरजल माला शिव शुक नारदा प्रमगदागदा शिव शुक नारदा प्रमगदागदा भक्ति विनोद देखे गोरार संपादा भक्ति विनोद देखे गोरार संपादा की बजाया जय गौराचंदे आरती को शोभन की बजाया जय गौराचंदे आरती को शोभन जानवी तटवन जगमन लोबा जानवी तटवन जगमन लोबा गौरांगन आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोबा गौरांग आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोबा जग जन मन लोबा जग जन मन लोबा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Jai Gurudev. नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सदा भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अंतर मायापुर धाम की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। समावेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौ फैमिली all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. So let's all chant the Narsimha prayer. Namaste Narsimhaya. Namaste Narsimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daina. Prahlad Lad Daina. Hiranyakashipu Vaksham. Hiranyakashipu Vaksham. Shilatankan Khalayam. Shilatankan Khalayam. Ito Nasiham Parito Nasiham. Ito Nasiham Parito Nasiham. Yata yata mitata Nasiham. Yato yato mitato Nasiham. Bahir Nasiham Hriday Nasiham. Bahir Nasiham Hriday Nasiham. Narasiham Gadim Sharanam Prapadyam. Narasiham Gadim Sharanam Prapadyam. Tav kar kamal vare nakham adbhuta shringar. दालित हिरण्यकश्यपु तानुभृंगा केशवद्रुत नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे। जय नृसिंहदेव 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 जय नृसिंहदेव। जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे। जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय। जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन। प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। So that's all for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 4:30. Thanks for joining Ram Katha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.